शुरू करो? बढ़िया.
One recent opportunity wherein we actually showcased how we are protecting our customers is like there was a major DDoS attack against the airports and the hospital sectors of our country. So these are the critical infrastructure with respect to any country, right? So it was by a group called Anonymous Sudan. So they started off by attacking airports across the globe, starting from the US and all of that. Then India and Israel were one of their targets. So they attacked like 6 major airports of our country. So
Hello everyone, welcome back to the GB show. As you are aware, I am on #InfoSec on Wheels. So we have traveled all the way from Kanyakumari to Kollam, and you can see the Kerala, the Gorzone country is very beautiful here. We are here to meet the founders of Prophaze. Prophaze is web application security platform, and from the founders Vaisakh Rajivan and Lakshmi Das, we are going to learn their journey and how they both build the Prophaze together and what all they have in the portfolio. Let's hear them out. Vaisakh and Lakshmi, welcome to the GB show. Swagatam. Kerala Adipolia.
yes.
So, thank you for being the amazing host. I think the food which we had is really delicious. I love Kerala. The beauty is there, but the food is so tempting, and I enjoyed every bit of it. But anyways, coming back to the topic, so why I'm here, I travel all the way, guys, from Kanyakumari to Kerala, or even, in fact, you can say from Mumbai to Kerala to interview these two founder of Prophaze. So, to start with, maybe, first, how you both met together and how the idea of that you want to do a startup. So it was initially was there that you want to do some startup, or how was the history? You have done some work, jobs, or what is all about? So I'd just like to hear how it started.
Yeah, so let's Lakshmi start. Lakshmi, yeah, you can start. The
Always
introduction.
ladies first.
Yeah.
Thank you. So basically, thank you for hosting us in this show. I mean, it's a great pleasure. So it's indeed a great occasion for us to be on this show. So first of all, to talk about how it all started. So I had started my career with Infosys into their banking domain called Pinnacle. And so Vaisakh was mainly into ethical hacking and all of that. He was a part of international ethical hacking community called Ruxcon. He was the only non-Aussie there. So that's how he got passionate about cyber security and all of that. But I was more into different products, and so very much aware about how all these international compliances, everything come into place. So for a short stint, we did happen to work together. So that's when there was a use case for a German client. So he was having issues, to solve something on the container security model. That's when we were looking out for a solution if there is any ready-made solutions in the market. But unfortunately, we did not find anything of that sort. So that is when, we thought, let's try to solve this somehow. And we got into it, and we tried to solve it out. So then we were like, so this is a big gap in the market. Not even the big billion-dollar companies have addressed it. So we're like, why not roll it as a product into the market? So that's how this whole story started. It wasn't really intentional of coming up with a product like this, but we thought it would be great, starting from India to the globe. So that was our vision. So that's how it all started, and now we are here with a great story.
And how it happened that both of you need to be together, and what you were doing, Vaisakh?
Yeah, I briefly worked. I have a very short career, in corporate career myself. Then I was doing my consulting and all. My background is programming and of course cybersecurity. So that's how my 10 years, 12 years passed. So then, as Lakshmi said, stumbled upon on this use case, and Prophaze started, right? So that's all together. And of course, Lakshmi, see, I mean, Lakshmi coming from a more of a corporate background, and I was more into programming and all the things. So yeah, so once we got an opportunity to work together for a product company, so that's where the whole budding of Prophaze started, without we knowing that we are going to start something in the future, because we're seeing a big, like 1 million lines of code and all the things, and see how a product company, I mean, there's always a difference between service company and a product company, right? How the product company, how the JIT commits and all the things, right? So all the nuances we understood there, and that was really making up for the Prophaze. So then, then when we started, of course, Lakshmi was into all the evangelism and all the corporate structure of the company. I was into technical side, so that brought us a very good combination among us. That's how all started, all games started.
And for my audience, I will like to tell them that these two guys here are so particular. They said there are many tech park, but we are not going to go out of Kerala. And they tell me that if you want to interview us, you have to be in the attire too. So that is how I am here. So tell me more about that, and why you chose that. No, we will be start from here, and how you manage throughout the journey.
I mean, very interesting question. I mean, of course, see, I mean, I've seen that many of the companies, like startups starting from here, and then they're going to US and setting a company there. I mean, I'm not against it or something. It's all good. But we, of course, if you look at TCS of the world, Infosys of the world, they came from India and they've grown bigger, right? So that's the way we also want to go. We see the India is growing, right? Of course, on a product we are coming up, so we want to grow it from here and go international, right? So that's the idea. And managing, of course, we started during the midst of the COVID time, so everything was work from home, and we did hired during that time. As you are traveling from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, we also have employees from Kanyakumari to Kashmir as well. So that's how we started. We born in the COVID era, right? I mean, cloud native like that, no, COVID native, right? So maybe so that's how we started. So we were able to manage all those workforces distributed, and of course now slowly we are also going back to the office and things like that. I mean, of course, as a cybersecurity company, you need to have that kind of an SOC and NOC operations and support. Has to be from the office, yeah. But that's how it's happening right now.
As you mentioned the office setup, now I have to have some formal communications. Let's make it a office environment. Sit and let's discuss about it.
Please, let's go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's look like more office setup now, right? So the thing which I will like to say, the Prophaze story, right? A story is built of many different parts. So maybe Lakshmi, let's start with you. What role you play in Prophaze?
So basically, I lead the operations. So look into the sales area, marketing. So because mainly, if you have a new product in the market, I mean, nobody knows about the brand or anything of that sort. Cybersecurity, at least everybody should be aware of that. That this particular brand is there, because it's all international players in the game. So this is the area that I look into. So I overhead all of these operations part of Prophaze. So because we thought we should complement each other rather than both of us being in the tech or both of us being in the business part. So we thought of dividing it among both of us so that we have proper clear segregation of duties.
Okay. And Vaisakh, what about you, the CEO?
Yes, I mean, basically, since I am coming from a technology background, CTO is a natural thing for me. But with Prophaze, I have to be the CEO, and I understood the tricks of the trade. And being a CEO, of course, since I'm coming from a technical background, when I'm talking with the other CXOs, I was able to bring that value onto the conversations. And of course, the strategic decisions, strategic partnerships, all those, the investor relationships, so all those activities I do from my side. Yeah.
Okay. So will I be wrong if I say CTO for Lakshmi and CEO for everyone? I don't think CEO will be reporting to CEO here. How you manage that thing, because being CEO in office and then at home she is the CEO. I'm sure how you were managing that question.
I mean, that's an interesting question. Of course, Prophaze is our baby, right? So naturally, we have to take care of it and to make sure that it has to grow up, right? So that direction is there in both of us, and from the day one, and that motivates us. And when you talk about work-life balance, we are able to do that together, right? I mean, this is our main thing right now. This is a 100% dedication and 100% thought process going to Prophaze. So the partner is also doing the same thing. It brings that equation into the industry. Yeah.
Fair enough. So to start, like when we said you thought that there's something in the need in the market for VAP, that time there were many other companies who were making the VAP, right? Why you thought that Prophaze will do or come into the same market and do something differently? What is the Prophaze story of VAP and how you think it's different in the market?
Yeah, so yeah, I will answer that question. But before coming to this point, let me tell you, there is, I mean, the same thing I told multiple times, multiple people, but let me repeat it here. So there is only one Microsoft in the world. There is only one Google in the world, right? So not every country is having a Microsoft and Google. So similarly, if you look at these WAF solutions, there is maximum 15 players in the world globally, right? So that means that the technology, the thing, I mean, the hard work, the research, and all the things is required to make this product is very difficult. Not everybody can start something 2 months. Somebody cannot build this product. So it's a very special. So if I would say if a new player also coming up with this, he will also be a success because it's a very deep tech product. Nobody can build it in an overnight or a week's time, right? So that's one point. But apart from that, yes, right, as you said, there are big players are there, and most of our competitions are already billion-dollar business every year, right? So you can understand from where the background is coming, and that is an advantage for us also, because when companies become too old, too big, too enterprise, they become very lazy. You don't see that kind of an appetite and enthusiasm to want the market, and that is what are we exploiting, right? Because that's the pain point of the customer, because customers doesn't have any choice. There we come and say that, hey, this is my pain point, and let this be the success criteria of the POC or a pilot. And without any commercial engagement, we solved the problem of the customer, and he became the customer. That's how we got 80% of the customer. So always, if you look at the market, a lot of things like false positives, false negatives, integration problems, the conventional, the rule signature problem, where 0-day problem, right? So all these we are able to address in our own way. And advantage with Prophaze is that the architecture is pretty new and very modular, and any changes we can do it in hours, and we can give that solution to the customers. Rather, it will take 6 months for a big company to change one line of code. So these are the advantages we have with the Prophaze platform, and entirely it's built on microservices and containers. So that brings us that kind of a flexibility into the product and to deliver the things at the right time.
Okay, and then in terms of compared to other products, like where you rate Prophaze as per its core capabilities, how you think it's doing fair in the market, and what are the results you have seen? Maybe some of your customer success stories you like to share.
Yeah, so maybe when we talk to a customer, we don't say an apple to apple comparison. Okay, so our way of operations is entirely different, right? So our first agenda is to solve the customer problem, right? So that is the first criteria, and and how reliable the product is, because it's a very critical infrastructure product, because it's like comes in line. If Prophaze goes down, everything goes down. So the responsibility is huge on us, right? So considering all these factors, first of all, are we solving the customer problem? Are we having good, reliable technology? So these are the two things customers are pretty much worried about, and we are able to address that point, right? And top of it, with the latest architecture, as I said, we are able to bring that solutions to the customer. So these are three core umbrella where Prophaze is able to do value to the customer, and of course,
also, talking about the customer success part. So one recent opportunity wherein we actually showcased how we're protecting our customers is like there was a major DDoS attack against the airports and the hospital sectors of our country. So these are the critical infrastructure with respect to any country, right? So it was by a group called Anonymous Students. So they started off by attacking airports across the globe, starting from the US and all of that. Then India and Israel were one of their targets. So they attacked like 6 major airports of our country. So we were securing few of the major airports. So we could ensure that, there was no downtime at all for any of the critical infrastructure. So, and even few of the instances which were running on other products, they could just quickly, shift in real time to Prophaze WAF, so that it just happened in just 5 minutes of time. So this was a area wherein we could showcase to the industry, how an Indian player can outsmart even the international players, even in a serious space like securing the critical infrastructure. So, and even the next day, the same sort of attack happened against the hospitals of our country. So similarly, we could showcase the same set of security operations there.
Oh, awesome. Okay, and I think these kind of challenges must be giving you tough times as well, right? So day in, day out, and how efficiently you are managing your operations team, and which earlier we discussed, it's pan India. So how the collaboration is happening, and what is this, the mantra you guys are following, even being remotely working so efficiently?
Yeah, so basically, even though we started, just before COVID, I mean, where we had an office set up and all of that, but it's majorly during COVID, like we release a product, and but luckily for us, COVID came as a boon because that is when people started realizing how important cybersecurity is for everybody. Earlier, everybody considered it more like a luxury rather than a necessity. But post COVID, it became a necessity, across all the sectors. So that is when we started hiring. And especially to get cybersecurity talent. I mean, it's quite difficult. So we just saw the passion in the people. So we recruited, and whoever had that passion in them, the fire in them. So we recruited. We did not look which part of the country they're from, be it from Kerala or Kashmir. So we just recruited, and we what we told all of them is like, imagine yourself as the CEOs of the country. I mean, probably in next few years you can look yourself as country managers of some countries.
Or
So
in
that's
other words,
that's a vision that we give them.
so we said there is 198 countries, excuse me for my knowledge. You can select whatever country you want, because that's opportunity, right? So that kind of motivation we give to the employees, see, and we don't monitor what they do from 9 to 5. I mean, it's all task based. You take some task and you do it and you report it back. So that kind of freedom can actually bring the productivity more. That's the secret. I just given it out, but that's a reality.
Okay, fair enough. So that works for employees, but what worked for investors? So when you came up with the idea, was there any challenge to tell people that this will work? How difficult it was to convince the investors?
See, I mean, there are two categories of investors. Excuse me, all the investors. The one investors which looks at the revenue multiple, and one set of investors which look at the technology and the future. And there are maybe a third type which look at both, right? Of course, both has to be there, right? So for those conventional investors, it might be difficult to look at. I mean, they look at their short game and making more money. But those investors who had that vision, where and looking at the technology deep, so that kind of investors were always suitable for us. And luckily, our investors, the angel investors, were early on, were mentors to us also. So that given us an opportunity for us to understand what is happening inside the game. So the third type of investors is mostly kind of both technology and the finance. I mean, it has to be there, then only the success of the company, right? So fortunately, we got our mentors as the early investors, angel investors, and they are already industry leaders. Okay. So when if you look at Prophaze story, we never had any godfather in the cybersecurity, right? And we are not serial entrepreneurs, like starting third and fourth company. This is our first company, maybe the last company, right? So of course, we realized that we need to have those kind of mentors who really did play the game in the past. So of course, from the very first days, we had those kind of half a dozen people who deals different area, like marketing, technology, partnership, So all this coaching, fortunately, we got, and that made us where we are right now.
Okay, awesome. And when we started, you talk about web application security platform, right? So from WAF to WASP, right? So what is the thought process behind it, and how you envision Prophaze in future?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question. So, our product managers are always our customers. Like we think about some ideas and we create, and we say, no, we don't do that. Rather, we understood that when we started with the WAF, we understood that, customers need bot protection, they need DDoS protection, they need API security, they need CDN. So these are technologies very closely related, So we thought like, it's a low hanging fruit and something which is what we do. Right, so that enabled us to understand that we need to bring up a platform. But on the other side, the platform stories are always confusing, because normally the problem with platform players are that only customer need to buy their own products, then only the platform will work. I mean, that is only good to the company. They will make more money, but not good for the customers. So we had this idea when we started our own platform. It's always cross-platform communication. So we use open standard protocols rather, so that if one technology Prophaze is enabling one API endpoint, it can be used by any other vendors. So that we become part of a huge ecosystem, so that at the end of the day, let's say cyber attack happens, and the customer has the option to look at different solutions and to get a final outcome, right? So that is openness we are putting into we are not compelling the customers to buy our own platform. Of course, you can plug in Prophaze with other technologies, but we are 100% making them with a seamless integration with other technology. That's the platform concept of the Prophaze always.
Okay, so any customers or any case studies you like to share where you have so before I go there, is it in the building stage, or you're full-fledged ready with the platform?
I mean, whenever so we started with the WAF, the bot protection is active, the DDoS protection is active, the API security is active, and of course now we are venturing into DNS security. Those are the CDN, the distributed CDN networks. Those two are, so 80% of it's already done and gone live with customers. And
Any success story you would like to share?
Yeah, of course. One of the recent success story. I mean, of course, Lakshmi has shared about the airport incident, and one incident which I cannot disclose the customer name. One of the biggest.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So one of the biggest financial customer in India who face a big advanced layer 7 DDoS. I mean, in these days, it's all about layer 7 DDoS, which is very difficult to. So when this came, they're a big player. I'm also not mentioning that name also for the sake. So it's the big player cannot able to do that. They quit the customer. So we took that customer and handhold them, and it's running. We are able to mitigate the attack. It's running live with Prophaze. So that kind of valuation we give to the customer.
And also, there was another case study wherein the external web applications were secured by one of the top players, but they had more than 200 odd internal applications. So for which it required a custom build basically. So none of the vendors were able to provide them the kind of custom solution that they were requiring. So we worked closely with them, and we understood their pain points. So because we are on containers, it's a plug and play. I mean, it's just a matter of a few weeks that we can build a custom build for them. So this is one major contribution that we're bringing onto the cybersecurity field, because we feel that security is not the one size fits all. Everybody, each and every customer have their own pain points, their own concerns, and their own privacy and security policies, right? So this is where we work closely with them 24/7, and we understand their pain points, and we build a custom solution for them so that it caters to everything that is pertaining.
Yeah. To add on to what Lakshmi said, it's more kind of everyday cybersecurity threats are changing. You cannot just sell a single product and go away, right? The product has to evolve. So the problem with, as I said, with other companies is a 20-year-old architecture. Nothing can be done. So with the Prophaze architecture, you can add plugins and more, and you can give a customized solution. So that's a mantra of Prophaze right now.
Okay, and how you are stick to that mantra, and what you guys are doing to make sure that you are always up to date and have latest tricks and trends which are there.
Yeah,
That's
anyways, I mean, that's a good question. So because being a cybersecurity company, the security of our own product is always an important thing,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So that is where a lot of care has to be taken. So naturally, since all of our background and all the tech background in cybersecurity, they are pretty good in doing that, but the maker checker problem is always there, right? So always we do have quarterly audits done by third parties, not even a single third party. We change third parties all over the time.
Okay.
So multiple VAPT teams, multiple auditing team, multiple product security team evaluate our products time to time and make sure that multiple layers, we make sure that, I mean, of course, at the end of the day, nobody can say that this product will secure everything. It's always a cat and mouse game, but we always tell to our customers, it's better to have your room door locked than making it. I mean, still the lock can be broken, but you can just have a lock. That's a thing, right?
Amazing. So I heard the Prophaze story, really insightful and good to know. So how you felt, Lakshmi, is earlier you were the job, now being an entrepreneur, right? What has changed in your life, and which if I asked which one is more easy?
Okay, so easier, especially, I mean, easier, it's for sure the 9 to 5 is the easier, wherein you just have to go there in the morning, clock in your 9.5 hours and just come out and then just forget about all of that, right? So obviously, but if you ask me what I enjoy more, obviously it would be entrepreneurship, because you feel, that fullness. I mean, that you're doing something, that's significant for yourself and for the society. You're contributing back to the society, especially our country, right? So because for all of these years, we've been depending on these foreign players for securing our own data. So we have this digital protection bill coming in, wherein we want our data secured within our boundaries. So this is where we as a product company, we can do, play a major role in that. So it feels more, great. I mean, it feels great. And yeah, obviously there are more challenges and responsibilities when you talk about entrepreneurship. You'll have to be like 24/7. There wouldn't be anything like a work-life balance or anything. I mean, but at the end of the day, you feel satisfied, that you're doing something worthwhile.
Amazing, and I think it's really nice talking to you, knowing your story. And I have a last segment where I would like you to talk to my audience directly. Well, like, Prophaze has created a big name in a small time, right? What has worked well for you, and as an entrepreneur, what is your mantra and your mantra? And if there are any new founder who is, looking forward to be on the journey which you have started 5 years back, what will be your advice to him? So, yeah.
Yeah. So one thing is that you cannot build a 100% perfect product. That's the reality. You cannot build 100% features, right? And by the time you build 100% features, there won't be any market for you. So whatever things you build is small, make it perfect and go to the market. That's how one point I would like to stress. Second point is that don't build for your own passion. Rather, understand what the customer require, what is the pain point, research on what are the pain points with a particular solution, what you are building with the current customers or current people, understand them and build the product. So these are the two things, I would like to share with the customers. And the last thing is that, you have to, many people thinking of, everybody has a dream of becoming an entrepreneur, but the part-time job is there and then other thing is there. So that won't work. I mean, if you are in, you have to be 100% in, then only it will work.
Sure. Thank you. And you are on the same page, or you have something different for my audience?
Yeah, so basically, talking about our journey, it's all passion, perseverance, and persistence that actually worked. I mean, there were a lot of challenges and rejections on the way. I mean, being a new brand in the security space, nobody would trust. I mean, so that was one major challenge, that because we were competing with the billion-dollar companies, and one major, this one courage that we did was to start from our own country, from Kerala. So this was also considered, something, not the usual, road that's not usually taken, right? So we thought differently. We thought, okay, I mean, we should do something different, and rather than being in the, headquartered in Silicon Valley, I mean, why not, we make our country the Silicon Valley, I mean, the next Silicon Valley. Right? So this is what we had as a vision, and we started off, and in just 2 years of time, we could be listed among these billion-dollar companies in the KuppingerCole Analyst Report, which is considered to be the European equivalent of Gartner. So we are happy that we have taken the vision ahead, and there are a lot of people who believe in the same vision and are working together. So together we embark on a great journey, and we wish to make a huge difference in the cybersecurity position of our country.
Awesome, and I wish you all the very best and
Thank you.
great success ahead. And as a ritual, I would like to say thank you for being on my show with the ladies first. Thank you.
Thank you.
And is for you. So it's like a coffee with current session.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you. And thank you to you. So guys, I will see you on next Sunday. Till then, take care, stay safe. Bye bye.
Bye bye from Kerala. Keep rocking.